I'm new to working in teams. How can I be the strongest possible team member? Well, that is a great question that I have received, and I am here to tell you, or at least to tell you my ideas and some ideas from a book. And yeah, so we're going to get right into it. So my name is Dayton Gertz. I'm 20 years old. I'm a member at RCTC, and I'm taking a team communications class. And I've learned a lot of stuff in this class, and I'm here to tell you a couple different things that you can do to be the best possible team member. So first of all, what we're going to go through is I have 6 different topics that we're going to talk about from the book on social loafing, tension releasing, status, empathy, frustration, delegation, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm going to go over today. And yeah, so we're going to get right into it. So first one is social loafing. So members who contribute less to the group than other members or than they would if working alone. That is what social loafing is. And the first tip to being a great and strong team member is to not be a social loafer, okay? It's really important because social loafing is just taking advantage of others that are better. Like if you're in a group and everybody's rolling, they're coming up with ideas and you're just kind of sitting back and, you know, not answering questions, not giving your input and feedback, that's social loafing. And it's really easy to do, but it's not fair. Other people are doing more work than you, so it's really important to not social loaf. So I might come back to that later, but yeah, social loafing, you got to participate, just however that might be, whether it's giving feedback and input, or if it's helping someone with a specific task, whatever it is, you got to participate. Otherwise, you're a social loafer and you're taking advantage of others. So that's the first thing to do. The second topic we're going to talk about is tension releasing. So a tension releaser may help break the ice or make others feel at ease during the group's more socially awkward first meetings. First of all, back to the social loafing. That is from chapter 2 of the book from the class. And now this is in chapter 3, the tension releaser. So that's a really important role to fill. And I feel like a lot of people that might not think they're the smartest people in the world, they might not have the best ideas for a group task or for a group project. This could be you, the tension releaser, the person that just comes in there, makes the group a little bit better for everybody, makes things a little bit lighter, helps, like I said, break the ice. That could definitely be you. So don't think that if you don't have the greatest ideas, you can't be beneficial to the group. You can always just make things a little better, a little funnier, maybe even too. So that's one thing that you can do to be a better team member. The third thing from chapter 6, I'm talking about status here. So it says status can be defined as a person's perceived level of importance or significance within a particular context. Okay. So if you're in a group and you see someone that's real good looking walk in, or they have a nice backpack, their laptop is nice, they're fast when they type, you know, all these things help you come up with these perceived ideas about how important someone is, okay? This can be really dangerous, okay? I know many people in groups and teams that I have been in that they don't look like, you know, they don't look like they're nothing too much. They don't necessarily, you know, they're not super outgoing. They don't talk too much, so it might seem like they don't have a lot of input to put in. They might not be a great team member, but in reality, they really are, and they're just quiet and that kind of stuff. So I just think it's really easy to look at people and say, this person is worth that much. This is probably the best team member. This is the worst team member. It's really easy to give people status before they've even earned it. Or vice versa, to take status away from people if they really are a good team member. So yeah, just trying to be unbiased is really important. When working with team members, you want to make sure you give everyone a shot at participating and giving an input and helping out. So yeah, just making sure you don't value one person over another just based on whatever it may be. It could be how they dress, how they look, their race, whatever it may be. So that's from chapter 6, as I said before. And now to chapter 7, I'm going to talk a little bit about empathy. So we have communication that conveys empathy for the feelings and respect for the worth of the listener, however, is particularly supportive and defense reductive. Okay. So being empathetic is really important, okay? When working in a team, everyone's going through something, so just being able to empathize and try and relate to other people in your group can really make you a valuable and strong team member. I think that also when it comes to actually like working on a project, if people give an idea that you don't think is super great, be empathetic about it. Don't be like, that idea is stupid. Like, empathize with them. Say, oh, that's a unique idea. I didn't really think of that. And in honesty, I don't really agree with that, but we can take a vote on it, or you can explain why you think this is a good idea for the project. So I think just being more sensitive, more empathetic in groups will help you be a stronger and better teammate. But also being empathetic is defense reductive. People can get really defensive in groups, especially if their ideas aren't valued. So it kind of goes back to value and status, but then also it comes back to this thing of empathy, where if someone gives ideas and you're empathetic about it, they're not going to get defensive if you don't like it, as long as you're being empathetic and sympathetic too. Let's see, so now that was in chapter 7. Now to chapter 8, I'm going to talk about frustration, okay? So conflict can be traced to frustration over almost anything a group or individual cares about. Okay, so that beginning, it just says again, conflict can be traced to frustration. Okay, so any conflict you have in your group almost always starts with frustration. Okay, so getting frustrated with your team members, that's going to lead to conflict. So to be a great team member, to be a strong team member, it is important that when you get frustrated about something, either try to work it out, or taking breaks is good too. If you're getting frustrated with the people you're working with, just take a little break, say, I gotta chill out here for a little bit, I gotta recenter myself. So yeah, I think just trying to, when you get frustrated, try to cool down. But also, yeah, try to work it out with your team members, because that frustration, that leads to conflict, and conflict in groups, that's not good for obvious reasons. Now, lastly, to delegation to an expert. I think this is a really handy tool when it comes to being a good, supportive, and strong team member, is delegating things to an expert. Okay, so I have a quote here from chapter 10. It says, "A method of group decision-making where the group defers to the member who has the most expertise." Okay, so that is delegation to an expert. Sometimes if your group, you can't figure out whatever project, whatever problem you're working on, if you can't all figure it out as one, say, hey guys, what do you think about letting Adam do this? He's probably the smartest guy here. I think he knows the best. Why don't we just let him take care of this, and we'll help him out with what he needs, okay? I've done this in groups many times, and this applies to groups, to teams, to like to sports teams, and just in any group setting. This is always an option. So as a team member, you could either be that expert, or you could be the one to say, hey guys, let's delegate this to someone that has a little more experience and knows what they're doing. So yeah, delegation to an expert. That is a good way to, or a good reminder, or a good thing to be a strong and good team member. So just to kind of summarize what we went over, once again, if you're just popping in late to the video, we talked about social loafing, we talked about tension releasing, we talked about status, empathy, frustration, and then delegating things to an expert. Okay, those are all really important. I think the number one for me would probably be social loafing. Just making sure that you're not just there. You know, if you're gonna be in a meeting, you better be in a meeting. All right, if you're going to be in a group, you want to give feedback, you want to give input, give ideas. Just try and stay engaged, because social loafing, it's like cheating. It's like taking credit for something you didn't do, honestly. So I think that is the number one thing I would say for being a good and strong team member, is not being a social loafer. So that's the number one thing I would say, just to summarize. And then I think hopefully whoever's watching this has learned something, but I just wanted to quickly state how much I think it is important to be a good team member. In the real world, and before you get there, in school, in the workforce, on sports teams, whatever it is, you always have to work with people. Very few jobs do you genuinely get to like work by yourself. Even jobs like, you know, that you just get to go, you know, mow lawns by yourself. Even in those jobs, you're still gonna have to communicate in groups. You still gotta get along with multiple people. And I don't know, what I'm getting at is in the real world, inevitably you're gonna be part of some kind of group, some kind of Bible study team, whatever it may be, and you are going to need these skills. So I would just say that there's a lot of value in being a good and strong team member. So just be aware of that. And yeah, I guess that's all I got. So take what you want, take whatever pointers work for you, and go from there. So thank you to all who have watched this, and peace out.